Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo ene wiasa mansan panyimfo akokohia ato adwene ade afa wiem sakra ne ntoto ya honsam so na ne kasa mu no dato dwechirim so wo man Ghana ye nyina ye wiase se de wiase nyina aka bom aye se akura ba kono eno ti ne wo man Ghana ye be ne se wiem sakra no ye be ye fam de aboa eno achi ye mpunto ne enka ko ne sikasam tutu ye so no ye be ye amana ko nani.
Madam Chair, Your Excellencies, climate change is the greatest threat to the realization of the Sustainable Development Goals. It has enormous impact on the fundamentals required for our survival on Earth, and that is why we have converged in Glasgow. Even though we in Africa are the least of the contributors to this phenomenon, responsible for less than 4% of the global volume of carbon emissions, we suffer the most because our agrarian and resource-driven economies are peculiarly susceptible to the effects of climate change, and our capacity to withhold its shocks is weak. Agriculture, water, energy, and the extraction of mineral resources are essential drivers of developments in our countries, but at the same time, are characteristically sensitive to changing climate. The African Development Bank has stated that the continent will need some $3 trillion United States dollars in mitigation and adaptation by 2030 to enable us implement our nationally determined contributions. The obvious question arises as how do we in Africa finance these commitments, especially as our socio-economic development continues, unfortunately, to be low. The Almighty has blessed our lands with abundant natural resources, and it would be wholly unfair for the world to demand that Africa abandons the exploitation of these same resources needed to finance her development and help us to cope better with the threat of climate change at a time when many countries on the continent have only just discovered them. The development and industrialization of the wealthy nations of today were also hinged on the exploitation of their natural resources. This development came at the expense of pollution and the emission of greenhouse gases. Even today, the Western world is responsible for 76% of carbon emissions. Ghana acknowledges the importance and effects of climate change and the urgent need to combat it, and we acknowledge equally the importance of protecting our development. We believe that a balance must be struck and maintained between our social, economic, and environmental imperatives.
Yep.